Hello and welcome to Truck Talk Videos. Now a bit of a difference here today because this is IL2 Sturmovik 1946. Now the IL2 Sturmovik was a Soviet, so a Russian ground attack aircraft during World War II, but as far as I know the developers of the game are Russian. So yes, so I'm guessing that is why they named it that. Now it is a series of games. I have IL2 Sturmovik Forgotten Battles, which is from 2003, and this one, as far as I know, is from 2006, even though I actually got this in May 2011. Let's move this calendar here. I am in a Corsair, which is one of my all-time favourite fighters, and it was the most advanced aircraft, well, fighter of its day. Now obviously you can drop bombs, you can fire the cannon. Well, I imagine on this it would have been 50 caliber machine guns, because I know that they were. Oh no, I thought I was going to stall then. Just put the phone over, but now that is a zero on it from 1944, because this is that was the Battle of the Coral Sea anyway, and I want to know why it's going a little blurred. So that wasn't good. That wasn't good there, was it? So I'll do it again. I'll retry. Okay, give me full power. So yes, this is the Battle of the Coral Sea, and I know I like my Second World War history, but in the Pacific I'm not that good, because the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot was definitely from 1944, but I think the Coral Sea, if I'm not wrong, is 1942, possibly. I'm more Northwest Europe and Africa to do with World War II. Because after all, the Pacific was more the American theatre operations, and if you was American, I think you'd understand it a bit better, and I'd have more of an interest in it. But because I'm not American, then obviously I don't. It's very hard to keep the phone still. Firing. Yes. Still didn't hit the zero though, do we? Hard to have the phone keep absolutely straight. Right, what are the warships? It has like arcade graphics from like the 90s, but it's just such a good game. I mean, I've probably been on Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, then IL2 Sturmovik Forgotten Battles, and 1946, and then Euro Truck 2. I mean, they're probably the most, and Flight Simulator X, the games and simulators that I've probably played the most, I would imagine. I see the carrier is hit. Is that the Yushin Maru? Or Kaka, it could be. So yeah, as you can see, it's a very full-on intense simulator. I mean, what I love about this is you look at the World War II footage and how grainy it is and black and white. Look at here, this is exactly what the pilots would have seen back in the 1940s, and I think that's what I love about it. Now obviously they do have flak guns. Obviously all the traces are from the ACAC anti-aircraft guns, and there used to be, yes, if I'm not wrong, some anti-aircraft guns perched on on the roof of Platt's Armament Factory in Oldham, and that's my engine just died. I'm not saying any great pilot would do this, but I'm going to try and aim for that carrier. Now, if you aim for the carrier, if you aim for that carrier at a reasonable angle, more than likely you will sink it, but that is not in the bow as I've just hit there. That is literally right there, just behind the Japanese flag. But right there, it is smoking, and you'll see the ACAC and all the weaponry cannon, and they're firing at the US fleet, which is over there now. This is just a bait though, this is just bait. And the reason why it's just bait is because you wouldn't just have a carrier with 2 warships, destroyers, or possibly even cruisers escorting it, would you? You'd have a whole fleet, because the real Japanese carrier fleet is literally over here. Now whether this camera will, yep, there, and look on the around, you can see them little dots. So that is the main carrier force, so that is just bait. So even if you do get a whole air armada or a whole air fleet to attack, you know, they will only hit what they can see. They won't hit over the horizon, so then it is down to you. So yep, that is the Coral Sea all around with ACAC and flak there. It's just such an amazing game. I mean, the graphics, you know, compared to Project Cars, I still haven't got that, but compared to Project Cars and compared to Grand Theft Auto 5, the graphics are secondary, but I do love the graphics. Where is that Zero gone? There he is. Woo! Okay, I don't know where he is now. Let's pan around. Somewhere, that's the flak screen. That's at its range. The limits of its range, should I say. So yeah, I can't really can't find the carriers or anything right here. So well, that's not good. But yeah, the water texture and everything is good. I've tried to get Squirrel to review this game, a simulator, many a time, but it's like I said, it has, you know, so many games to test and so little time. Well, the good thing is I've got a lot of games to test and I've got time. So yeah, I'll do a better and lengthier video on this. Hopefully the next one will be the B-25 Mitchell around the islands, which should be you know, which should be best attacking the Japanese airfield. And I like the islands because I like that part of the world, and I like that part of the war. Now that is a Corsair, as you can see. Here you got your load, your bombs, your drop tanks, there your rockets and bombs. That's obviously your aircraft. That's your air force. It's your skin, so you can have it like that, but I'm not. I think that's, unless you're in Moscow, that's no good. And then that's your squadron. So yeah, as you can see, the graphics aren't the best, but just try an SBD quick. Now, to release your bombs, it is the A key. To release your rockets, it's the space bar. and your drop tanks is also air. That will turn on autopilot, and then that will obviously drop the bombs for you. This is the cockpit of an SBD. It isn't a Douglas Dauntless. I think it's a Dauntless, that's what we call it. But it's a bit like that. These were your main carrier attack bomber during 1942. And then you had, I think if I'm not wrong, the Avenger, which was a lot better than this. I mean, you know, this is old style compared to an Avenger. They are actually your guns. You can literally like grab them, put them on, sort of like that. Now, to press your guns, it is the enter key. You can actually change the, you know, everything on here in your options. Just I am flying it with one hand, so it's pretty awkward. You also got your rear gunner as well, which I think is just amazing. I'm hoping that's bombs away, but I'm not sure, so let's just put it into a dive. Dive brakes and everything are on different keys, but you will have to program them in the options. Also, what you will have to do as well is is obviously just program them in on your options. And now I'm getting hit, so I'm going to dive for the nearest destroyer and hopefully sink it. Did I? No, I didn't. Even though that's put number one gun out of action, number one turret, which is a good thing, but against aircraft you could do quite a lot, but I guess against warships you couldn't do that much. They're parachutes, by the way, you can bail out. So it's just, it's a game you would just play over and over again. Once you get the bug, you don't want to end. You know, you want to sink the whole Japanese fleet, really. I mean, you can have options. Or should I say, in the options we have limitless fuel, limitless bombs. And if you survive the anti-aircraft fire, you can have none. Then basically, you know, you can sink them if you have concentration and all that. So Okinawa map, Coral Sea, Pacific Islands, that's my favourite. And there are Crimea, Moscow, Smolensk. Now they are the Russian theatre. Let's just show you very, very, very quick the islands. This could be an A-20 Boston. It's either a Douglas or a Harvard. I should know. I've been on. Well, not this game particularly, but the Forgotten Battles variant. I've been on since 2008. There's the others. That is a life raft there, by the way. That's a life raft. So there's an island. That's sort of an emergency landing strip, really. If you can. You can also time quicker as well. And if you have Eurotruck, if you have Eurotruck, it's the indicator key on that. So I'll just show you pretty quick. Hopefully the Japanese Zeros don't send us into the sea. This is the lagoon with the anti-aircraft guns and the ships. When you enter your airfield on here, you'll have a U-boat. Well, it isn't a U-boat, but it's a Japanese submarine, and a couple of cargo ships that you can sink. There's some subs with very bad anti-aircraft fire. In fact, they didn't hit me. And this is the Japanese held airfield. Now you can come down the mountain with this. This is the bomb aimers or bombardiers view of things. Let's just say I wouldn't want to be in this position. That's one of my engines failing, and if I'm not mistaken, that's my wing off. We are going down. Yep, we are going down. And hear the air raid siren as well. But I'm actually glad we went down there, because I can show you now. Oh, typical London. There's an anti-aircraft gunner. See the graphics aren't the best, but I love it. That's a bit like a Bren gun. A Bren light machine gun. There was... oh, there they are. There's some Zeros lined up near the runway on taxiways. Again, not the best graphics, but it's a fantastic game. And then when you have it on airfield, to attack the airfield, you have a convoy of possibly Isuzu trucks along here that you can destroy. I think there's more Zeros. They are naval Zeros, because look at the colour. They are the Imperial and Japanese Navy. Yep, Imperial Japanese Navy. And then over here you have the lagoon. Stretches out pretty far and wide. Directly in that direction, that's the American held island. That's you can well, you can on the missions. You can choose to take off on the missions, but not when you're in the quick missions. You can land, but if you land too hard and too fast, your undercarriage, the gear will collapse. If you already have bombs on board and a full tank of fuel, you could explode. It could explode on landing. But if you're not too bad a pilot like me, but come on, the wing did come off. Once your wing comes off, you go into a downward spiral, and there's nothing you can do, whether that's commercial, you know, or an aircraft of war. There's nothing on this side. You would expect a couple of bunkers and a couple of anti-aircraft guns in case, but then, come on, if there's nothing out there, I guess they wouldn't need to defend that part. But I would. Yes, I would. There's anti-aircraft guns on the island there. A couple more around the island. On this hill, I can't zoom in, but on that hill there is anti-aircraft. You got guns and like flak, so like German 88s, but obviously it's Japanese, so it wouldn't be German 80s. Could be a copy of them. I'm not very wise about Japanese artillery. I'm not that up on German artillery. I just like the Pak 40 myself. So that's that. But as I was saying, if you're a good pilot, then you could possibly get away with landing it. One undercarriage, one of the gears left or right could snap off, but you could come down to a controlled crash landing. It's just about speed, height. I mean, the flaps can jam as well, so if your flaps jam, obviously your airspeed will not decrease. So it is quite hard. I will have to show you sometime, possibly next week, what happens. But yeah, it's the first video I've done of this. It will hopefully become a series, because I am a big fan of it, as you already know. So that's your airfield. That's how big your airfield is, and that's the island. So I think they put quite a bit of effort and detail into it myself. It's just such a good game. You could just play it for hours and hours. I play Euro Truck for hours and hours, but you know, you could just play this for hours and hours because it's so good. So we'll do another one next week. Now I just need to test this new. It's not like a camcorder. It's like a handheld camera, a bit like a famous make, beginning with G. So I just need to test that now with a Euro Truck video, and then basically go and see what activities on my Flickr page do with all my truck photographs. So Truck Talk signing off, and ta-da.